Here's all my progress. Wait for it to sit down. Are we unmuted now? Mm-hmm. Ready to go, okay? I'd like to call this Public Safety Committee meeting to order. It is about 4:01 on Monday, August 8th, 2022. First on the agenda is there anybody that would like to make a public comment today? Okay, just here to witness our meeting. Thank you for being here. Next on the agenda is to approve our minutes from May 9th, 2022.
Motion to accept.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on our agenda, we have police crime and Alcohol Park camera update. And that will be Officer Hogan.
Afternoon. I'll give a little recap from last month. Some of our Part 1 crimes, which kind of includes our murder, rape, robbery, aggravated assault with a series of felonies, they've kind of been down. We only had about 14 this year compared to 19. Our other misdemeanor crimes, our vandalism, simple assault, child abuse, went up from 22 to 12. And let's see here, some of our other traffic collisions, we've had no fatals, no serious ones, had a couple non-injury accidents. Arrests went up this last month, 16 from previous month of 13. So the guys are out there, doing what they need to do, taking bad guys to jail. Some of the cases that we're working on in detectives unit, we don't have any newer cases. We're just finishing up our old ones. We had an aggravated assault, PC 245 assault with a deadly weapon. Basically, we submitted this person right now. It's actually going through court. Person assaulted his family with an assault rifle actually. We've completed the investigation. We're actually starting court hearings right now to kind of see what's going to happen, if it's going to go to jury trial or if they're just going to plea out. So we're currently in the court proceedings with that. We had an armed robbery at Arco. Suspects fled to the LA County area. They were detained and arrested by LAPD. We basically got word from them. It was a similar car used in one of their crimes. Through video surveillance on LAPD's camera, was able to show our suspect that committed the robbery here. So we're working with them. We completed the investigation. Now we just got to basically go and find 2 more suspects and arrest them and take them into county and take them to court, basically, is our next step. We had a pretty serious offender. He's a probation violation. It's a 2735, which is a felony DV. He was out on bond. He committed serious acts against his cohabitant, which led officers on a couple high-speed pursuits, and the ACT team got involved, led them on a high-speed pursuit outside the county. They ended up capturing him. Everything was okay. Officers are okay. He's currently in jail. I believe he bonded out, but that was one we were working on, putting a case together. And then we have 3 high-end stolen vehicles. They're 1 Bentley and 2 Maseratis. We've arrested 1 person in the case. The case is still going, so I can't talk too much of the details, but we've arrested 1 suspect in the case. We're still trying to figure out if this is an actual theft or more of an embezzlement through gang activity, high-end gang activity out of Southern California. So we're looking at that. We got one car is reported back. The second car has been switched titles through this whole system of web. So we're working with DOJ and California CHP, working with them, and we might have to go down there and make another trip. We had an attempted homicide, and it really was a son trying to hurt his mother. Like details on the case, basically, he woke up after a lot of drug use, methamphetamine, believed his mom wanted to kill him. So he stabbed her several times with a knife in the house here in Kingsburg. He was able to leave just prior to officers responding. Officers saved the life of mom. well, with the aid of EMS and taking her to the hospital, but if we weren't there, she would have bled out in her garage, basically. We ended up finding him, took him to court, took him to jail. He's in court right now, and we're kind of waiting for that case to finish up. Patrol a couple weeks ago stopped 2 cars during the evening. Ended up having a gun with them and another gun in a hotel room, so we were able to register search warrant for that, multiple search warrants on vehicles and apartment complexes, and we were able to recover that for work in that case right now. And a couple other small cases that we'll work right now. But that's basically a wrap-up of what we're doing, trying to finish up everything before we can go do some more proactive investigations. As far as your comments about Oswald Park, we do use the camera system. Sometimes the footage isn't the best, depending on the angle of what happened and the crime. And I know they do shut down at night. That's been an issue. If there's criminal activity at night, it's been hard to see those. I think they're on a solar program, from what I heard. So basically an update on those. It would be nice to have more, but we have what we have. We use them as best we can. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Was there much of an uptick over the summer in youth activity?
As far as crimes at the park or just in general?
In general, vandalism, malicious mischief, things like that.
It's hard to say exactly if it was all youth. I mean, we did have an uptick in our misdemeanor crimes, but that could be a list of vandalisms, it could be DUIs or anything, but it's not like we're getting this crazy student body that's going out there and committing all these crimes. So it's kind of normal flow with everybody being out of school right now. So, anything else?
I just have a question.
Sure.
So we've had some vandalism at some churches recently. Is there any suspects, comment on that?
No suspects right now. We're taking the case over for control, so we'll be doing a full debrief on it and a new investigation on that, but no suspect leads at this point. So it's just combing through the evidence and see where that points us. Yep. It's a long process.
Okay, and then you're saying that it'd be nice to have more cameras?
I think in general, but it would be nicer to, Athwal, but in general throughout the city.
Right.
The problem with some of the cameras is it's just a singular focus on one area. I can't zoom in, I can't zoom out, I can't pan, so when I go to court and present this, I might see a subject that looks like my suspect, but is it really my suspect? And that's kind of sometimes what we run into.
And did you also say you're not able to have usable video at night?
In the Athwal Park area and skate park area, just because it's on a solar system.
It's just that part?
It's just that park area, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that was the grant that's how we got those, was on a grant, I believe. And that was part of that grant.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there was infrastructure to build the electrical system out there. Yeah, right. Right.
Any other questions?
Any other questions, or? It's kind of brief. I can't give too many details of cases. They are ongoing right now, but that's kind of a brief of what's going on, what we got working. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next on use of funds, discussion for next budget year. Do you have any ideas?
Well, I'll address this to Student Departing Officer Kroger and Officer Stevens. One of the officers did mention the possibility of drones, and so I'll present that to you as a possible use of our funds.
I think a drone would be amazing. You're going to have a pilot, a lot of training, the storage. I know it's something we've talked about for investigations. It's just the money to get one of those. Yeah. So,
and my understanding with the drone is you have to have somebody that operates the drone and somebody that's an observer while it's being operated. And a lot of times, on a night shift, we might only have 2 people on duty. So we really don't have the manpower right now to spend that kind of money on a drone and have it operatable during certain hours. And it is a lot of training. You have to go to, drone pilot school and learn how to fly these. The fortunate thing is Fresno County Sheriff's Department has drones, and, if we had a situation where we needed a drone, I believe they've used one here before for us when we were looking for a person that was wanted on some domestic violence charges. they actually brought the drone in and used it for us.
They have several different drones. One of my buddies at the Sheriff's Department actually manned one of them. One of the drones is small enough you can throw through a window and fly in a house, okay, and that's a specialized drone. The second drone that we use is just your average drone. It's the average size drone, and we flew that actually by the suspect's window. It was in an alley, and we had officers lined up, basically in a tactical formation, but it was unsafe for us to approach the vehicle due to him having a weapon. So we have rifles, shields, everything that we can do, we're standing by. Well, he's rolling up the windows, he's acting like he can't hear us. The benefits of the drone was we were able to get a 360 pan of that vehicle before we ported a window with a less lethal shotgun or less lethal munitions. And we were able to try to see his hands the best we could. We were also able to communicate with him. We told him, this is the Kingsbury Police Department, Fresno County Sheriff's Department, these are our demands, this is what to do, this is what's gonna happen next. So the whole time, as we're out with that suspect, we're able to give him clear, concise directions, and basically it ended up, he gave up at that point. And the whole thing's captured on video, so when it goes to court, we can say we did everything before we had to use any type of force.
And we do have, Reggie Gerke's ordered some cameras, will probably be installed, soon after the, infrastructure for the wireless communications going out throughout the city. Fiber optic, yes. So we do have some cameras on order from the last, award. So we're working on that as well. Reggie's ordered some for us.
Do we know who spec'd the cameras?
Who what?
Who specified the cameras? How many megapixel? What's the
I
capability?
believe the chief, does that right? Officer Hughes?
So I can't answer that for sure, but a lot of the times we trust, Reggie Gerke
Reggie, yeah.
with that information because that's, you know, he's the leading person here in town that does that. So we did ask him to, with this purchase that he made, to get some higher resolution cameras that would play back, clearer. So those are on order.
So is, going back to something earlier, is Athol Park at night one of your higher activity areas?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, it's not all the time, and I know we have the vandalism there where I think they cut the tarp, and that was just a bad camera angle. You couldn't see up into and underneath that tarp as to
Well, I
who
think
was
my
cutting it.
concerns are the resolution of the camera, number one, number two, the ability to record quality video at night. Because all cameras are evidentiary in nature, that's
Correct.
what they're for, they document. And so if we've got a camera system that is not performing to the level of expectations or need, it might be that before we keep expanding, take a step back and retrofit. You know, I know Reggie as well, as I said, you know, video is what I do, a large portion of it. And many times you will find yourselves going back as technology improves or funds become available. You upgrade to get better performance than what you've got. Rather than just continue to expand something that might give you mediocre performance.
And what we found when, one of the cases we worked at when Captain Clark was injured, we were able to track the suspect vehicle, but it was hard to really zoom in and capture that vehicle, and that was hard. And on a lot of our cases, sometimes you'll get someone that drives away an area, runs away an area, and that's where you really want to zoom in. And if we had an LPR, which is license plate reader, with combination with that, it would be easier to zone in and say, that's my vehicle, or another vehicle coming into the city of Kingsburg off the 99, that's a wanted vehicle, and that's where we could really use that for an investigative tool versus just being able to see it drive by. We can watch it drive by all day long, you know.
Are you familiar with the appliance that is on site? Is it an NVR or is it a video management system?
I believe it's just a management system. And the cameras, from what I remember, the first ones weren't totally spec'd out. It was just whatever he could source at the time.
Okay.
And it was something that was going to expand on later, but it was what we had. And so the quality's decent. It's just how well it zooms in from the distance they're put. And some of the locations we have to have power because the biggest struggle they're finding is where to plug these cameras in and who's going to source that power and fund that. So some local businesses or different structures we're able to tap on, but it might not be the best location for, it gives a good pan, a bird's eye view, but that's about, we're limited with that.
So it's a combination of the two, the capability of the camera, but a good video management system will allow you to zoom playback.
Yeah.
However, that's what's dependent on. It's a combination of the two, and I think it would be beneficial for us to kind of just take a look and see what's there.
And it also sounds like because, it's solar powered, runs off of one battery, right? So you're losing some video, possibly evidence.
We are, yeah.
Sometimes, you know.
Yeah, nice.
Well, and you can get the video on the storage units for the solar panels.
Sure.
That will keep it going,
An extra battery or something.
for, 2 to 3 days, depending on the weather, inclement fog, things like that, so.
And really at Alpha Park, it's, it's gonna prevent some of the vandalisms or, if there was any type of, muggings or anything like that that would occur. I think that's where those are gonna be helpful with people in the public and playing. For the most part, other than those play structures, there's not a whole lot out there for criminals to really mess with. All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Any other discussion on use of our funds? We have quite a while, so.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
I think like last time, we waited
We
quite a
did,
period
yeah.
to take a look at many different options. I think
Right.
that's where we are again,
Yeah,
to determine.
we'll be getting the funds next month, we have several months to, a whole year. Don't use them, and we lose them, but, we've always used them the last 4 years, 5 years.
So we've done the cameras, and I know you said the fire department is pretty well, or
Yeah.
they've got
She does a good job with.
a good grant writer will make you money. Yeah.
Well, so does Chief Dadian, but they just have more things to deter crime, so. Tough to get all that with the budget, even with Measure C, it's tough. Yeah.
Just keep looking for or inviting input
Yeah.
as to different projects.
Okay, other business, next on the agenda is other business, anybody have, no, I have one. So, I have, was thinking about fentanyl and fentanyl education. So I know over the last year or two, or, at least a couple of years, the overdoses for 14 to 21-year-olds is really on the rise. And, I reached out to Fresno County recently, last week, and I talked to a gentleman named Detective Dean Cardinelli from the Fresno Police Department. And he is one of the main guys for education and awareness on fentanyl. Fentanyl, what's going on with, those ages 14. There's a lot going on with ways that kids get it now and them not knowing what they're getting. And so, when I spoke with him last week, he said that if kids are interested, my hope is that the high school would be interested. That's why I was hoping Mr. Bailey was here today. He says what they do is they will give a video, about 25, 30-minute video, and Officer Cardinelli and either Lisa Smith-Cap herself or somebody from her office will speak on what's going on with the fentanyl, around California right now, or the whole nation really. And then they'll, and also have a parent there, a parent of a child who has overdosed like 4 times in the last year. Thank God the child has not died, but, so, I'm just wondering, I was wanting to ask this, our committee here, if that's something that, I didn't ask Officer Cardinelli if they charge for that. I don't think they do, but they may. That's something that we could maybe, I'm sure it wouldn't be very expensive if they charge for that education and awareness.
Are you wanting to keep it just at the high school level?
I was thinking, for sure the high school and maybe even the junior high,
Okay.
So,
because we remember the, air programs, which were successful in their day.
Yeah.
And then we went to Red Ribbon Week, and I know that, pre-COVID, the DEA had been in Kingsburg at, Lincoln School, and they had done some classes. I don't know if they ever went to regular things like that. But, you know, depending on the level that the, school district thought appropriate. I know that the DEA does not charge for such things, for educational courses, things like that. We'll look into that.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you know what? When I talked to Cardinelli last week, he didn't mention any fees. You know, and then I thought, when I was coming here, I thought, oh, you know, I didn't think about asking him that, because I just,
Typically, it's a, no cost.
no cost, yeah, for the county.
I'm sure it is to help, you know.
Their education and awareness, right, yeah.
Awareness. Probably some sort of grant, you know, they
I was just wondering if everybody here is in agreement that I'll continue, you know, I told him I'd bring it up at our meeting. I had asked him to be here or somebody from his office to be here, but it was such late, I think I talked to him on Thursday, and he said he could not be here today at 4:00. At Cardinelli, so I told him that, you know, he said, you have my personal number now, you know, talk to your committee, and then if it's something that, we want to continue to pursue, and, you know, talk to the high school about it. They would like, you know, to have we call it like an assembly, I don't know, you know, have an assembly and then the education and awareness on this. I guess fentanyl is very deadly.
Well, I think the high school and junior high are prime targets for such discussion and, presentations. We are seeing drugs get down into the lower levels. We've all heard the stories,
Yeah.
you know, at Reagan and things like that. I think it's a tremendous idea. Talking with the detective, I'm fortunate that the recently retired, SAC for the DEA was one of my oldest friends. So I reach out to Dave
They reached out, yeah.
and see what he can do as well. Plus what his family has from the King.
Right.
He's got a little soft spot here.
Sounds good. So what I'll do is, go ahead.
So, Cardinelli, he's actually on a task force for fentanyl overdoses with the county. There's like probably 5 or 6 people on that task force. And what they do is they go to fentanyl-related overdose deaths, and they investigate those deaths. So he is very big in the fentanyl, area right now. That's what he is doing. He is a very good detective with Fresno PD. So I do not think there's a charge for that.
Okay.
And probably in the last 2 weeks, we've, I think last Saturday night, they arrested somebody with, I want to say like 33 to 35 fentanyl pills here in the area, so it's in Kingsburg.
It is, okay.
And it's very, very dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, one of the meetings I was at, one of the instructors, that I was next to, he teaches some of the drug classes. His name's Bob Pennell. He said that it would be smart for every household that has teenage children to have, Narcan in the house.
Narcan, yeah.
Just because, it's not gonna hurt you if it's not an opiate overdose, but if it is, it's gonna save your life. We carry the Narcan with us. I've seen it work. But that would be probably fantastic training.
Doesn't Kingsburg have a resource officer?
So, yes and, I can't say yes and no. So our resource officer is primarily through a tobacco grant.
Oh, okay.
So, her primary function, we just switched, it's,
One of those officer gang.
yeah, it just switched to, Officer Monique Gonzalez. She's taking over. So in that, it's through the Prop 56, tobacco grant where we get funding for that. A lot of her responsibilities as the SRO is educating the students on tobacco use, vaping, teachers, staff, doing educational training with them as well. And then she goes out and she does compliance checks with our, local retail vendors for tobacco. Any tobacco-related type things at the school, she will help out with. And if she's not busy doing those things and their school's calls, then she could probably help out with that. But, So yes, it is a SRO, but it's primarily funded through the tobacco grant.
Got it, thank you.
So what I can do is, reach out to Mr. Phelan, and then we'll add, Draper Johnson, and then I'll reach out to them tomorrow, and then I'll get back to Officer Dean Cardinal, education and awareness. Hopefully schools are interested in education, you know, I would hope that.
I think so, and, you know, the more and more I hear is these kids, you know, the pills are so easy to get a hold of now.
I hear
and
they
they
have
do,
on phones now that,
yeah, it's so easy to get a hold of, more than alcohol, more than anything else. So that's why they're going to the pills, and, you know, fentanyl, you know, a small grain could kill you. And when they make these pills, so usually they come from Mexico, and they mix fentanyl in with them. If they don't grind them up well enough, one pill might have one little speck of it, and another pill might have 4 or 5, and it's that pill that's killing the kids, and they don't even know it. They're just going to parties and they're taking these pills and they don't know what they are.
And you may not know, and that's okay, but might you have a chance of what a consumer container of Narcan might run for the average home?
I'm not sure, I think CVS sells them. I know of a family here that they have, one of their, now an adult son is addicted to opioids, and they had it in the house and it saved his life.
Okay.
But I think CVS sells it.
Oh, yeah.
I think you can buy it, and then sometimes they also have some programs that give it away to get it out there. Legalize.
maybe some government programs give it away.
Right, right. But it's also for sale, yeah.
Okay, great, thanks, Barry. Yeah, I'll reach out and then. All right, anybody else have any? Next on the agenda is we'll adjourn our public safety committee meeting for this Monday, holiday. That's good, it was a very good meeting, I'm glad the police department is here. Give us that update.